Hi, so in today's video I will show you how to fully have manual controls in your Lumia 930 in your video mode. So as you know, in photo mode you can change the focus, ISO from 64 to 3200. You can change your shutter speed, and you also can change the brightness or exposure compensation. But when we switch to the video mode, all you can do is white balance, focus, and exposure compensation. So in the video mode we don't have the option to change shutter speed or ISO. What we can do in video as well is we can change the frame rates 30, 25 and 24 FPS, and the shutter speed will adjust according to the FPS. But what if we want to shoot fully manual? First I will show you how the video works when you are in this so-called manual mode. And as you can see, I can change these settings while I'm recording, but what happens when the light source changes? I will bring my flashlight. As you can see, the image is being compensated to get everything to be in the same exposure. So it's adjusting its exposure by lowering the ISO and or lowering the ISO and increasing the shutter speed. But this also works if we increase the brightness. It will still try to adjust itself to a new lighting conditions. So basically all this does is not what we really want if we want fixed exposure. So how to get fixed exposure? On the Samsung S6 here, you cannot do this with the built-in app. You have to download the Cinema 4K application, and you can start recording, and you can set up the shutter speed, so you can control how much light is going into the sensor with the shutter speed, but as well with the ISO. So by controlling these two, you are making adjustment to your image. Of course, aperture is fixed on mobile devices, so that is something that we cannot change. But why is it important to have manual exposure and ISO? For example, if we want to have a low light situation, but the lowest grain in the image, we want our ISO to be the lowest. That's something that auto mode does not always do. It will try to find the balance, so it will usually put the ISO like this and shutter speed will be something like this, and then you will have this flicker. That's what happens when you have artificial light. That's another reason why we want fully manual controls, so you can turn on your live view and you can find that sweet spot where there is no flickers. So for my CFL lamp, that's 100 and 1/50th and 1/25. But as you can see, yeah, that's okay for this. But if I go any further than that, if I go 1 to 200, then I have flicker again. So that's something that I will not use. So I will only use 1 to 50 and 1 to 100 in this setup. The auto mode sometimes picks this up, sometimes it doesn't. It's really not working that great all the time, especially if the lighting conditions change. For example, if I have really bright light coming in, there you see it, there is flicker right now again. So that's why we want manual control. So as I said, on the Android devices we can use this Cinema 4K app, but on the Nokia Lumia we do not have that application. So there is actually a bug that you can exploit to get this. So for example, you can set up your ISO in picture mode to whatever you like, and I will choose 64, and you can choose your shutter speed. So here it will give you an example of what your shutter speed should be in the auto mode to give the nice exposure to the image. So because I want my image to be 1:50 so I don't have any flicker, I will use that, and it says I'm a little bit overexposed. But if I move out, no, I'm underexposed actually. So what I have to do now to apply these exact same settings in the video is to go to video mode, and as you can see now I'm recording at the same settings, but when I start to record and I bring my light source, it's still doing the auto exposure thing. So what I have to do is stop recording. I have to take a look at my video and get back into camera. So now exposure will be fixed, also the ISO will be fixed. So whatever the lighting conditions are in the image, it will be fixed. So there will be no flicker, there will be no jumping from fast shutter speed to low shutter speed, and by this means you have your fully manual controls. Of course, to change the ISO and the shutter speed you have to stop recording and go back to image settings, set it up again. It's a little bit annoying, but it's still better than nothing. But when you're in this mode, you cannot change the brightness. It cannot be clicked. You can only change the focus while you're recording, and you can change your white balance. Also, what I don't like about the Lumia's white balance is once you set it up, it will always try to find a new balance, so like it's never fixed white balance. So that's something that's not fixable yet. So this is it. This is how you can record your videos on Lumia 930 with fully manual controls like ISO and shutter speed. Thank you for watching, and if you enjoyed this video, please leave it a thumbs up and subscribe to my channel.